Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We're covering the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 6, episode 13, I think, maybe 14. It's the start of the Greece trip. Just to let you know what part of the season, or what part of whatever. Just know I'm at a part where you probably want to watch, and if it's not, go to the next one. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe, leave your comments, share this video. Now let's get into this episode. Okay, y'all. So we start off this episode with Angie. She's with her Aunt Rita and her dad. Angie has been responsible for another group trip, and she's taking everyone to Greece. Could you think of anything else that she would be doing? Because that's all she wants to talk about this season. Angie is applying for Greek citizenship. I don't know if she'll get it there or whatever, but she decided to list it. Some of the ladies meet at the house. I know Mary, Heather, Meredith get there or whatever. Anyways, we're set to go on to Greece. Lisa's like, look, since I get it every day out of Angie through conversations about Greek, I'm pretty Greeked out. And hopefully after this trip, she's just done with it. Lisa, we don't even get probably a fourth of what you get. I'm done too. Not saying don't be proud of your heritage or whatnot, but Lord Jesus, like, how many days am I gonna say it? Even though, no, never mind. Never mind, I won't say that. But I mean, I can't say that much stuff about Black Power. Y'all want me to say that every day? Black Power? Just asking. Let's see. When they get to Greece, we hear from Whitney. I don't know what was going on, but she was saying, you know, I'm all about moving forward in my relationship with Brown and not going backwards. That's what I believe, even if I'm going to move forward, not to go backwards. However, I do know that she is not able to hold anything, even though you filmed it on camera. It's on camera. Obviously, there's going to be something down the line that Whitney's going to hold over Brown. Brown, you just opened a can of worms in regards to Whitney, because she will be on your tail. She's going to get her get back. They arrive to Greece. We find out later on that Lisa and Angie were fighting over Cartier watches, and Lisa feeling that Angie is copying her. We're going to get in that in just a second. But first, Angie talks about she got the fat pads from underneath her eyes done. They do stuff with Lord Jesus. You know the things that you use to eat Chinese food? What about the chopsticks? Sorry. Somehow that's part of the mechanism of getting the fat pads out of there. Meredith says that she prefers Botox over filler. Heather was like, get all the filler that you need. That's what you need to do. I mean, well, that's your business. And that's what you do for yourself, Heather. Heather mentions to Lisa, hey, I got a Cartier watch. I guess she found a shop, I think possibly in the airport, and she got it based upon the fight that Angie and Lisa were having in regards to copying this Cartier ring, or watch, I mean. And then she gave one to Whitney too. She got some type of deal for it, 2 for 1 or whatever. So Lisa and Angie get into this argument about this whole copying thing. Lisa first was just saying to Heather, I'm happy for you. Heather was like, yes, we ought to be happy with what other people have and not think that people are copying, da 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 da. Obviously, they're doing all of this stuff to try to get under Lisa's skin. I thought all of it was comical, even with Angie and Lisa fighting yet again about nonchalant stuff, because Angie is here to just say, look, we all can have nice things. They talk about Porsches. I have 5 Porsches. Lisa was like, I have 4. I guess that's one thing I can warm up on you on. Mary in her confessional saying, look, I would never argue over Cartier watches. Those are like for grandmas. Go ahead, Mary. Lisa feels that Angie is a jealous, competitive person. And I know that you know what I had because you were watching me on TV. Meaning Angie was a fan before she actually came on the show. Lisa said, look, I'm happy for whatever they do. Y'all want to be bothered by everything that I do? All I do is I look for things that I want to have. I sit in the bathtub. Heather breaks up whatever this is going on and saying, oh, so you're copying Meredith now? You know, the bathtub is a Meredith thing. And they have a little chuckle laugh. Good. We needed something just a little bit unserious in this moment. We find out that Heather is still mad at Meredith about not being friends, meaning the whole part where Meredith said that if you take Brittany's side, then we cannot be friends. She said that on the boat, but for some reason they keep saying it's on the plane. Until I see footage, I don't care. Meredith has been trying to have one-on-ones with Heather, and Heather has been blocking her and not really participating in having a one-on-one. We find out a little bit later that Meredith has been contacting her about 3 times, and Heather has not been open to do it. At the beach, they kind of eat out there. Not at the beach. There's a restaurant right there on the beach, and they eat there. Meredith is talking about Mary's talking about the different face shapes, and Angie had on a hat that wasn't really appealing to her outfit that she had, but she wanted to look Greek. Mary called her out for it, and then she took it off. She's like, no, you don't have to take it off. I'm just saying that it don't really look good. She's like, oh, I just wanted a moment just to have, but it's over. I'm like, okay. Then Mary was talking about the different face structures, and she said one was a square face, and with the square face, it's a dingbat. The editors are bad because then they just pinpoint to Brittany. That's not Mary doing that, so don't get on her. A question was raised. I don't know who raised it, but did you guys see all the men in Greece? How do you like them? Ooh, ooh. Heather already said that we need to get some numbers for men in Greece. She said that she saw someone on some floaty out there. And Angie said, oh, do you see one for yourself, Brown? And she's like, oh no. I'm in a happy marriage. She didn't say that. Now I'm paraphrasing. And Heather goes, well, you know, you did say beforehand that you were open for open marriage. How did that happen? No, that didn't happen. Well, you did lead us into this type of situation as like you were separating. I never said I was separated. Now, she said, at least in the confessional, I can't remember what she said in that episode, but Todd slept at a hotel at an airport before he had to go and fly out or whatnot. She was mad. I don't think that she gave the implication that they were split up. No. However, I don't know how to really defend you in this, Brown. You at least gave implication that something has to change, but I think maybe you were open up the subject, but Todd shut that down. I don't know, but your story does change, and Mary called it out. Like, you can't just put something out there and then change. Like, you never said this in this way. One, nobody's gonna believe you, and I don't know how to rescue you out of this. I root for you a lot of times, but then it's just like sometimes, what are you doing? So flop on that, Brown, because that's just crazy. Meredith says that she wasn't there. She's talking to Brown, but I've been in your position. And it won't be the last one. As far as I'm trying to come at you, would try to say what you didn't say. Brown did not say certain things. I really get that. But Brown, the language you were using and what you were saying could lead people to certain conclusions. Not saying that, look, you're free to think whatever. However, it made me be like, oh, sorry, you misunderstood me. That's it. We're done. But of course, Heather thinks everybody else is gaslighting, but she don't gaslight nobody. Heather goes to Mary. She is wanting to talk to Meredith, but she wants to gripe about Meredith with Mary. And she just feels like Meredith is really disregarding and never really truly apologizes. And Mary's like, tell her, be more direct. I have. It's always like Heather's trying to get somebody to side with her on something. She can never stand flat foot in anything. The only time is when you had liquid courage to just chase Lisa around the boat and you still didn't get what you wanted out of her. So then later on they have another dinner. Meredith has brought something for Heather as a peace offering. Heather receives it, but she thinks that Meredith's trying to get away with how everything is. And she doesn't like it. So Heather ends up saying, like, you're trying to just negate my feelings and all of that, and you really hurt them, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, I don't want to talk in this group. I want to talk a one-on-one, but you don't want to do that. And obviously, and Meredith already has figured out that manipulative witch's tactics. She wants a pile-on, and that's what they do. And it's so crazy that y'all chastise Lisa for sticking up for Meredith, as y'all did tonight. She can speak for herself. Well, why don't you go speak with her behind closed doors instead of having your Bopsy twin over there needing to now piggyback off of you so that she can go in for the kill. So Lisa sticks up for Meredith, like, wait, you're trying to hold her to a standard that you don't even do. I don't think that that's fair. She's trying to make amends for this, or whatnot. But she wants Meredith to say, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, da, 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 da. Lisa's like, it's not that big of a deal as to what she could have got carried away and what she was saying and all of that because of how emotional she was. It's just like, what? When you try to hold me to the fire for things, da, 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 when I didn't even do ish to you, and you want me to just take it and accept it, so it's just not fair. Lisa starts crying or whatnot. I think Heather ended up apologizing. I don't know. Heather says that you're selective with what you have rage for. That's what Heather is calling her out for. Well, the things that mean so dear to her, she has rage for. I don't get that. Maybe some things don't need to be addressed. However, if y'all want to say with Lisa and stuff, now I wouldn't be friends with her again. But she was able to find common ground to be friends with her. But guess what? It took a couple seasons for Meredith and Lisa to move on. It wasn't some overnight thing. So if that's where y'all coming from, then I don't know. But anyways, Meredith says, I don't agree with you. In this calm tone. Whitney says, I forgot how Whitney got roped into this, but she ended up saying, I don't believe you have a problem. I believe that you are the problem because we're over here fighting because of how you treated Brittany. Brittany says, you know what? I'm over it. I'm moving on. This is the woman that was so traumatized that 8 people had to lift her up out of that airplane, off of that flight. She's moved on. But she says, well, Meredith does owe them an apology. For what? Oh. You're the one that was assaulted, talked to so nasty, and tormented. You were tormented, but you moved on. So either two things are going on. Brittany, you're just used to abuse. Or these other clucks are lying. That's the end of the episode. It was still a cool episode. I got more laughs than anything, because we're still fighting over the same things that's not really making any sense. It's not going to make any sense to us until we actually see some footage. Reunion looks have come out. We'll talk about that. I think I'm going to do a glam or scram. Since we're on episode 13, I'm sure we got maybe like 3, maybe 4 more episodes. And that's just that on that. I'm glad to have a day free so that I can do other things. But yeah, that's what I got for this episode. Y'all can chime in and let me know what you have to say about it. Meredith and Heather don't agree. Meredith is trying to come to a place where we can agree, but you want people to apologize how you want to be apologized to. I can't say that I disagree with that type of standard, but man, it was so hurtful that Meredith said that you can't be my friend if you're going to stick up for her. Was it? I don't know. I don't know what goes on in her brain, but I do think that Mother Superior just wants to lay down the rules. And really, what they want her to do is to say that she effed up on that plane. All right. I appreciate everyone for coming. Like, comment, subscribe. Until the next one, peace.